Marathonman here, and we're ready to play some Ratchet and Clank. All right, so there's a lot of things new with this category as of the last couple months now, with this game in general. So I'm gonna try and cover everything as best I can. If tech is ready, I'm going to go ahead and load this file. I will count you down from 3. All right.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Good luck.
Thank you. And starting off, I'm going to go for this one time. One time. This is for the fans and for no one else. Fans go home sad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Next time. I got you guys. Don't worry. All right. Welcome to Ratchet and Clank. A lot of things we got to talk about in this run. Again, I'm going to try and get to them as much as possible. This first planet, our mission is to just get as much money as we can and as much ammo as we can. A big thing with this game in particular is there's just a lot. There's so many things you have to pay for and just not a lot of time to do it. We're going to try and cut as many corners as we can. And this category in particular, because we're doing all missions, there's a lot of extra things we have to buy, so we have to be extra on top of our money. So we're just over 400 here. That looks good. A couple things we have to buy really early, but we'll get to that when we get there. For now, we don't have a lot of movement at this point because it's the first planet. We're just starting off, but that'll change very quickly. So now we're coming to Novalis. This is another pretty bare bones planet. We only have the one objective here for now, but spoiler, we'll be back on this planet soon enough. Let me get this here. Okay, beautiful. That skips the whole planet. Don't mind me, just cutting straight to the... let's get this out of the way. This is a kind of a big thing with this game. Insomniac likes to develop their maps in these giant circles. So the saying goes, the entrance is right by the exit. So we show up, we go straight to the end, and then we double back down. So this planet coming up, Kerwan, is the first big planet. There are a couple things we're gonna have to buy here, and it's also gonna be where we get the helipack, which is where a lot of the movement of this game opens up. You're gonna see as soon as we get it, a lot of different things gonna be happening at once. The game's gonna pick up quite a bit. But for now, again, we're still pretty bare bones, so it's just get as much money as we can. I need 1,000 bolts to buy the helipack at the end of all these bridges here. And we're just under halfway. I'm gonna hopefully get the other half from this helicopter coming up here on this bridge. Bolt RNG is kind of a big deal. Again, we try not to go too far out of our way for bolts, and we don't have that much time to get them. So hopefully this guy's nice to me to get over 1,000 here, and he is awful to be. Oh my God. Okay, that's fine. That happens. I would say probably 1 in every 5 or 6 runs dies at this point, just because you only have, again, so much time to get so many bolts. I'm gonna, hopefully everyone here is nice to me. Okay, we should be good. Okay, perfect. All right, here's Al. Thanks, Al. So now we have the helipack. Again, a lot of our movement opens up now, so you're going to be seeing immediately. We're going to be long jumping. We're going to be mid-air long jumping, which you see he kind of vibrated in the air for a little bit there. That's it's basically how it works. You start a long jump, you immediately transfer it into a side flip, and then you transfer it back into a long jump. So that's the vibration there, is all that happening at once. So you see you get the initial speed from the first long jump, the throw of the side flip, and then the distance from the second long jump. So we're gonna be using this all throughout the run. The first major sequence break is coming up here. So normally when you get onto this train, you're locked into a cutscene, but I'm gonna short hop to make sure that the cutscene doesn't play before this guy here shoots me, and now because of that I can move during this. It's still playing the cutscene technically, so I just have to be used to Ratchet being really far back. You can't see him super well, so I'm used to squinting, and sometimes it gets ugly. And thankfully in this category we have a checkpoint, so if I were to have died there, we would have been fine, but otherwise we're going back a minute or so. All right. That's the first half of this planet done. So the second half involves a couple things. One, I'm gonna have to just talk to an NPC real fast, but we're gonna buy something, and also, like I said, bolts are super important, and not a lot of time to collect them. So we're actually gonna set up what is pretty much like the get-rich-quick scheme. So first, let me just talk to. This is Quark, kinda, you know, not really. Anyways, so it's a weird thing with this game, and it's somewhat intended. But when you reload a planet, like I just did, I believe until you collect like 50 bolts or something, it might be more in this game. I believe it's 50 in the second game. When you reload a planet, things are a little different, and so we actually have a hidden bolt multiplier. So by killing the dog there like I did, and then coming over to this area, I'm going to break all these crates in a very specific way. And hopefully if nothing goes wrong, I should have around 4,000 or so. Okay, so 3,200 off the first stack is good. Okay, yeah, this is good. Beautiful. Okay, that makes up for the bad helicopter. You want to have around 4,000 or so leaving here, and so 4,100, almost 4,200. We're looking great. And then the final part is we're just going to do this. Guys, we're fine. Don't worry. We're going to be doing this obstacle course, and the goal here is we're going to buy a gadget at the very end. And it's funny because you're supposed to like complete the obstacle course and then win it. And Helga, the girl at the end here, is like, "What, you're doing terrible. What are you doing?" So she makes you pay for it. Because that's how things work in this game. Alright, so that's pretty much this planet all said and done. Yeah. Thanks, Helga. Making me pay for my own prize. Alright, so it's kind of a funny thing with this game. We're coming to Eudora, and Eudora is the shortest planet, and it's so funny because there's actually like a couple things we have to do here, but everything is right at the very front. Again, ending's at the beginning, so there's like there's like one whole big path you have to do for one thing, and then a whole other path for another, and they all end up here. So, once again, ending's at the beginning, and there we go. So the other thing we have to grab, we don't grab this in every category, it's pretty much just this and the 100% category. I'm gonna cut this gap right here and then make our way to the backside here. And this is the suck cannon, probably everyone's favorite weapon. And then we're done. That's the whole planet. That's everything we need to do. So to contrast that, we have one of the hardest planets in the whole run. This is also a very long planet, and there's multiple different paths, but it's not as clear-cut as the last one. So a lot of things can go wrong here. Hopefully everything goes well. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is one of the new things that's like pretty recent. Boom, okay. And, you know, we just do that, you know, just fly up in the air. Why not? And this part, actually, you're supposed to do as Clank. You're supposed to, like, go out and have him wander around all these paths with gadgebots and puzzles you have to do. And anyways, I'm just going to skip all that. One thing I do need to do, though, is because Clank is supposed to be the one who goes out here, is I do need to clip through this wall and get this dialogue box. Thank you. Okay, that's that all good. You're going to see that a lot with this run. There's, we've kind of, like, as of the last year or so, just unlocked more and more potential with the Bomb Glove, and this series as a whole is known for, like, you buy all these crazy weapons and gadgets, and we're only really going to use 2, and we're going to mostly just use the Bomb Glove for the majority of this run. We will buy one other towards the end, but I'll talk about that more later. But not only is it pretty good as a starting weapon, you know, decent damage, decent AoE, like, you know, it works out pretty well. But there's just a lot of movement you can do, and so you saw like literally just by me like pressing the camera up against Ratchet, we can actually proxy with the bomb glove, and proxy. I believe proxy originated from the Spyro community, and it's funny because I'm pretty sure it was just a word, and then people over time gave it the adopted name. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it is supposed to stand for practical redistribution of X and Y momentum. I'm gonna actually take a death here, just it'll just make things easier. I have to do a bunch of things with not that much health, so if I can consolidate that, but we're gonna do it. We'll be fine. Guys, nothing bad ever happens in this game, don't worry.
Good time for a donation or two?
Absolutely.
All right. We have $25 from Preston, who says, Kingdom Hearts is my favorite. What do you mean I'm more than a day early for that? Good luck, Marathon, on both your Ratchet and Kingdom Hearts runs. I still owe you all. One more?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Rico has donated $10, saying, no sound, good luck. This is a bit I have sound. With that, we are just $20 short of reaching a fifth digit on our total for Speedrun World Record Circuit Season 4 so far. So I really hope to see that happen during this run.
Thank you both so much. The no sound good luck bit is funny just because I post that. I tend to lurk in a lot of streams and I'm usually doing other things, so I'll just, that's like my one message, just no sound, good luck. So one thing I should point out there is you are technically supposed to fight a boss in that room, but I kind of went like around the edge, and for whatever reason, if you do that, the boss doesn't spawn. So it's pretty convenient. So now we're gonna access. This is, like I said, there's multiple paths on this planet. So this is the final one, and it's funny because you can access this one from the very end of the last one. Again, it's just how they designed the map. So this is also kind of scary because I have to make it to the end here and press a button, and then on the way back, if I die at any point and just with trying to go fast, sometimes accidents happen. I do get sent back to the start, so hopefully that doesn't happen.
Thank you.
I believe I have full health here, so we should be fine, but, you know, like I said,
Vessel
accidents happen.
annihilation sequence initiated. Please remove all personal belongings.
Alright, perfect. And I guess I'll use this to say as well, since Crescent pointed it out, I will also be running Kingdom Hearts on Tuesday, so definitely check all the runs out, honestly. There's so many cool runs here. We had the Lego block earlier, we had BFPV earlier. Alright. So, we are coming up on one of the hardest tricks of the whole run. Hopefully all goes well. And I'm not going to explain it just yet. If you don't know this game or don't know this, I'll just let it explain itself. Perfect. Okay, so it's a very unique thing. Probably the most unique thing about this game is certain surfaces, the game constantly thinks you're on the ground, and what that means is you're able to chain long jumps and side flips back and forth over and over and over again over certain surfaces. And so with that in mind, what you just saw is me canceling left side flip into right side flip over and over and over and over again. And if you miss one input, the entire thing gets eaten and you fall and die. So it's really hard. It's definitely the biggest learning curve with this game. And unfortunately, it bums me out, honestly. Something that has frustrated a lot of people and turned them off from running this game. And, you know, I know it's hard. I know it can be daunting, but you just gotta try. That's all we can ever do is try. Eventually, you will catch on. Trust me. Some people who have been walled on it for forever, just with pure perseverance, have gone on to do some pretty incredible things in this game, and I'm proud of every single one of them. I should also point out, we're doing the hoverboard race right now, if that wasn't apparent. We don't have the hoverboard, and we're not going to that planet until way later, but for some reason you can just... As long as you can get on here, the game's like, well, how'd you get here without a board? I guess you have it, so here you go. And actually, an important thing to note that I haven't pointed out yet, we have to pay a 4,000 bolt stipulation at the end of this planet. You see, I don't have 4,000 bolts quite yet, but by winning the race for the first time, the game gives you 1,000 bolts, so we have that factored into the bolt route. Again, we have to do this mission anyway, so that's just less bolts we have to grab in the long run. All right. And a fun thing to note about, you have to do these off of, again, certain surfaces, so we have to go off of the buoy, and the buoy is constantly tipping up and down. You can only do those when it's tipping down, so I have to wait out a little bit. All right, so I feel like I'm already saying this a lot, and we still have so much of the game to go, but this whole planet revolves around this trick. This trick is called infinite long jumps, by the way, if I didn't say that. Again, because you can infinitely chain long jump, side flip, back and forth, as long as you don't drop the rhythm and don't run out of set surface. What I just did there is activate a trick called Ghost Ratchet. So by hopping into the mud and then pulling myself out with the swing shot, the game kind of thinks you're dead and gives you certain qualities to that. We can jump through walls, or in this case, the rungs of a ladder. So we're going to use this to cut through this entire fortress. And again, this is like a long gauntlet. You're doing all these puzzles and combat sequences, and we're just going to go straight to the end. With that in mind, this is one of the... And it's funny, because this boss fight's really not that hard, but again, we only have so many weapons, and with that in mind, the best option is actually just our wrench. And so with Ghost Ratchet, I can actually get inside of him and just try and hyper strike him as fast as I can before he can hit me. And I'm kind of like moving to his backside so he like turns around a little bit. If I die at any point during this boss, I have to go all and get Ghost Ratchet again. And I definitely don't want that. So again, hopefully no accidents. It's pretty rare that you die here, but it's just a lot with camera management, because when you have Ghost Ratchet, the camera it'll just bug out on you sometimes, and then you're playing the game of where am I? Okay, I believe the game is soft-locked. I forgot this could happen. So, I guess we're going back anyway. This boss is weird. And Ghost Ratchet's weird. And a lot of things happening.
While we get back there, mind if I read another donation?
Sure.
All right. Captain Gallon has donated $25, saying, "All missions is a criminally underrated category."
I absolutely agree.
All right. Well, another thing about that donation is that it has put our total raised for Urban Arts throughout Speedrun World Record Circuit Season 4 over $10,000.
Let's go.
Thanks so much to everyone who's donated anytime throughout the season. That's a great cause this is all going to.
So, I got that, which is cool, but then it dawned on me. I do still need Ghost Ratchet, so it was all for nothing. That was just, you know, like I said, with practice and perseverance. I guess one thing I should point out is that's normally how we would do this planet, because you can... Oh, there's a global for the fans, I guess. I forgot that was in there. For the fans. But one of the missions does involve actually fighting this boss, so... Which means we do have to go through the fortress. Alright. Now, surely this would not happen a second time. And again, this boss normally by this point you have at least a couple weapons, probably the blaster is the best and most effective, but we already have so much to buy and not a lot of time to buy it, so... Just one more phase. Dude, you scare me going back over here. Alright, this way, sir. Okay, I think we're good. This guy, man. All right. Okay, so once again, we have a planet with a lot of different paths we have to go, and they're all pretty spread out. It's kind of funny because thanks to just a lot of the movement in this game, we actually can move pretty quickly, and we do get to see a lot of things that we normally don't get to see on this planet. So, the first of which, like I said, a lot of bolts we have to get, not a lot of time, so I'm gonna go rob a bank real quick. There you go. Oh, and I landed right on the edge there, which is unfortunate. Whenever you approach a ledge in this game, it just eats all your speed, so... Oh, well. Weird. Oh, I hit another ledge. See, I told y'all nothing bad happens in this game, don't worry. Alright, so normally they want you to come back by this point with some other gadgets, and guys, I think we're going to be okay. Normally you're supposed to go and grab some boots and go up this railing, and we're just going to skip all that. Alright, so this is one thing that we normally don't get to see, this turret fight. We just have to blow up these, I guess they're supposed to be blimps, or, I don't know, something like that. It's pretty straightforward. I guess one thing to note is that you do only take 4 damage here, and sometimes these missiles can just go in, like, really crazy directions, so that's just one thing to be aware of, I guess. But it's pretty straightforward. This last one's also bigger for some reason. I don't know. They were like, oh Lord. All right. And this is all, of course, for a pretty useless gadget. There's gonna be a couple of these that we just have to get to complete the missions, but oh well. One thing that is there's a couple different ways to skip this next part, but since we have the grind boots and because we need the mission anyway, we are actually going to do the grind rail section, which I don't know. I always thought these parts were cool. They're not like super challenging, but they really, because like this game has so many beautiful planets and so many just so much beautiful landscapes in general, and I feel like the grind rail section's always best showcase that, because you just get to see everything in such a short amount of time. And we never get to see them because there's normally a lot of different ways. This one in particular, there's actually been a pretty recent way to skip this, which is pretty complicated. But yeah, this is also like, it's a nice chill downtime spot. You know, you just did like 4 of the otherwise most difficult planets in the whole round, and now you just get to relax a little bit. Listen to some cool music. This is one of the best songs in the game, in my opinion. The skill point there is for not taking any damage on the railing. Alright. So, this planet coming up, this is the only time in the whole run we're going to play as Clank. I mentioned earlier there's a path on Blarg Station where you are supposed to play as Clank, but this one you're forced into. How it works, like in the story, is this is the main enemy species of the game. This is their homeworld, and it's destroyed. So it's, as you can see at the top there, it's inhabitable for Ratchet to breathe here. So that's why Clank gets sent out. And this is like, it's like a 7-minute brigade of puzzles and gadgebots, and it's just a mess. And this used to be one of the hardest parts of the whole run, but that setup was found by my friend Sippy, and I wholeheartedly believe if he did not find that, nobody would run this game. There were a handful. There was an old setup that was crazy. You were looking at like Clank's head and the tree and the way that like the tree would move, and it was a mess. And the way Sippy found is way faster, way easier, way more clear cut, and yeah, now it's just like an afterthought. I still wholeheartedly believe that it saved the category. This next planet it's pretty simple. This is actually like a otherwise pretty complicated planet, but there's only one mission, and once again, ending's at the beginning, so the one mission we can clear out very quickly. So we're just gonna grab these bolts here and then make our way over. And this is like, you're supposed to drop down the backside of this. There's an elevator on the platform to my left, so this is we're just gonna scalp this mountain. And there's a checkpoint on that bridge there that I'm going to try and avoid, because after I grab these bolts here and these bolts here and make our way on over, I will be able to just hop in the lava and I will spawn right back at the ship. So, yeah, very simple planet. Alright, so I got to introduce my favorite character in the whole game. He has one line. So, anyone back there wants to give me your hey, now would be the time.
Hey, you.
Beautiful. This is an escort mission. It's like kind of tedious. Again, it's because of how intense this game can be, and especially once we get to the later, like the way more movement focused planets. It's kind of nice having downtime. That said, these fish can be pretty ruthless. Sometimes they'll like bob and weave in and out of bombs, and thankfully in this category we have the suck cannon, so which is pretty good at dealing with them, but sometimes they can just pile up on you. Not too bad, just making our way downtown. One thing I didn't mention on the other boat is we're just standing on top of the glass here, and for some reason the fish can't hurt us here. It's pretty convenient. I should point out the start of this boat ride where we just came from, that's the only checkpoint we're going to get here. So, again, accidents happen. If I were to die, I mean, I would never die, but accidents do happen. And coming up here at the end of the planet is we're gonna buy our second pack attachment for Clank. So like I said, the helipack that we bought at the start of the game is where the majority of the movement comes from. And now that we're gonna buy our second one, we're gonna be able to interchange them a bit. And the thruster pack is what it's called. Has some unique things with itself, and the two actually work pretty well in conjunction. Let's see if we can get this. Not quite. If you can side flip fast enough there, you can actually go through that wall and buy this early, but didn't happen. Oh boy. Okay, so this ship fight is a bit precarious. I have to be really quick here and be pretty reserved with missiles. The small ships here you see, they're RNG. They can drop either health or missiles, and we very rarely take any damage anyway, so we pretty much just want the missiles. That was a pretty good fight. I'll definitely take that. Alright, so what we just got was the O2 mask, which it's going to help Ratchet breathe through space and water, and in this case, the destroyed planet that I referred to earlier. So now we're going to play this planet as Ratchet. This is another escort mission, kind of. It's a bit weird to explain, but like, basically, you unlock coordinates to the next planet by picking up these infobots, and this particular infobot coming up is weird, and you have to chase it through 7 different locations. Fun fact, another very recent discovery with this game is you can actually move this infobot to all 7 locations as Clank. It's really bizarre, a lot of crazy precise stuff. It was quite an unsolved mystery for a long time, because it was like the last Uh-oh. I'm just gonna die here, actually. Okay. The last few planets I went to, there aren't any coordinates on them. So, in theory, if you could get this infobot without... Like, you could technically, in theory, get it as Clank. You would skip the 2 planets I was just on, the escort mission and then the lava planet. And it was kind of a thought in Runner's head for a long time. And only as of, I believe, the end of last year, they finally cracked the code on it. It's still tricky to do in a full game run, though, and it doesn't save time anyway. It's just, it's kind of novelty, I guess. Okay, so I've mentioned a few planets as like, oh, this is the hard planet, or oh, this is the hard part. This is probably the most infamous planet in the game. So infamous, in fact, that my friend, the Rixer, he put out a 30-minute long video going through the history of this planet and why it is so frustrating. And if you watch it, I may or may not make a cameo in it, but the first thing we're going to do is die, of course. It's a great start. The first thing we're going to do is a turret fight that, it's this long path to the top, and thankfully we can just ascend our way up like we did on the other planet. This turret fight is the worst. There's 5 sections of the ship, and at the very top, like, in between where the cannons are, there are these tiny points that deal, like, 5 times the damage. So they're really crucial for making this fight go as quickly as possible, but they're super precise, and the ship is constantly bobbing up and down. So it can just be frustrating sometimes. And sometimes, like, the ship just won't break. It's like, you're just, like, barely missing it. That was a good fight, actually. You're just barely missing it, and it's so easy to die here. That chain there puts us at the very top of, this is another, like, really long, complicated puzzle with, another useless gadget. I do have it, but I'm not doing the puzzle. We just skip that entirely. We're just going to be grabbing a bunch of extra bolts here. And then buying... I won't call this gadget useless. We do use it one time. But it's only the one time. And it's kind of expensive, too. From this point out, almost everything's going to cost 1,000 to 2,000 bolts. And that's just... There are things we have to buy to complete missions, and also things that we need to just progress the game in general, so it's a fine balance there. Alright, if I can get this, that should be high enough. Oh yeah, we get my other favorite character in the game. He has one line.
Oh, heck.
Beautiful. Alright. So, as we unlock more and more things, with this game, we're going to start backtracking to some other planets to get some other missions. So this is another, like, super lengthy puzzle with you, like, locking and unlocking doors and swimming and all this. And we're going to go ahead and start this sequence. But we're not actually going to do any of it. So it's kind of funny that this works. But, we swim on over here. We can just go right through the floor. And, this pack, by the way, this third pack attachment for Clank, this is the last, this is what we just bought. This is the one use. It just makes swimming through here faster. And me swinging there, like, for whatever reason, sometimes you get this weird, like, floating state with Ratchet, so the swing there just kind of cancels that. Alright. This is another, kind of like the planet with the boss earlier. This is a otherwise like super long, just gauntlet. Like there's so many different hallways you have to go through. It's this long-winded. This is like story-wise like the climax. This is where you go to fight Captain Quark, and it's this long road to the top to get to him. But if this all goes well, I'm just gonna attempt to beeline it straight to the end. This chain's this could be a lot. This isn't gonna work. There, I think I walked too far forward. You have to space all those out super well. And I was just a little bit too far forward, and so it ate my midair. I got too close to the ledge. That's fine. Besides, I think this way's cooler anyway. Again, bomb glove, just crazy things you can do with it, and this is all like relatively new. Okay, so this is the boss fight with Quark, but for some reason you can exit the ship, and as long as you can make it over here, the game's like, all right, I guess you did it. You won. You did it. And that boss fight is actually done in the ship again, so again, just very precarious. Alright, so this is probably the single hardest skip in the game. There were a few ways to do this, but they mostly involved going the casual way, and we're not going to do that. You just have to do a lot of very precise launches with the bomb glove here, and this is going to be high enough. This looks good. It's a little hard to see on this monitor, but I think this all looks good. This jump is it could be okay. Yeah, see, there you go. The jump itself actually isn't that hard. I'm too far away. That's fine. It's just like, because the other two parts can be a bit finicky, it's like, there's just like so much extra nerves, because it's like, okay, I did this really hard part, this really hard part. And then all I gotta do is double jump, and I think that should be good. I might have jumped a bit early. I did jump a bit early. Okay. Get a tiny bit closer here. Didn't get the double jump again. This whole sequence is just very precarious. Like I said, this walled a lot of people for a long time. This used to be far more difficult, but thankfully, as we've discovered more and more with the just with the bomb glove, we've been able to make it a bit more digestible. I might have jumped early again. We'll see. Okay, yeah. I think that should be good. Okay. All right. That jump at the end, like I said, it's not too difficult. It can just be hard because you have to be facing a certain way. And also, you need like a decent bit of length on the jump, but you can't space it out too much, otherwise the second jump just gets eaten entirely. Alright, so last thing we have to do now is just... Oh, this is the PDA, by the way. It's pretty broken. We're going to be using it for... It's going to basically dominate, like, everything you see for the rest of the run, just because it's so useful. And it's funny because its actual, like, in-game use is pretty mundane. It's literally just... You can just buy ammo for your weapons wherever you go. I think they jokingly say, like, you have to pay shipping. It's a bit more expensive. But again, we're not really going to be using too many weapons at this point. What it does do, however, as you saw there, I was able to use it to side flip infinitely. And we're going to be using it in combination with all the pack attachments and all of our basic movement. It's going to define pretty much everything you see for the rest of the run. This planet is also super, super long, and actually you're supposed to come back to this planet with something that we're going to get later on. But with the PDA, we can basically just go straight to the end. Common theme here. And this cutscene is tied to that enemy I just killed. So we are actually still going to come back here, but again, as we just gather more and more things, we're just going to be able to unlock more and more as we go. I didn't get the chain there. If you do that chain fast enough, you can cut straight through this wall. And this is weird too because the bottom part there, like where you exit here, for some reason it's a one-way. It's kind of like a secret one-way. You can't go through it from your ship area, so we have to just go up and over. This is another super, super long planet with, this is another one where it's like just one super long path, and we're just gonna cut straight to the end. And thankfully with that clip there, we can access this long runway, and then we're just gonna be just chaining movement together, building speed. There are like tiny ledges you can hit. So unfortunately I hit one there and lost a bunch of speed. This is the code bot. I could be wrong. I believe the code bot was supposed to be like a reoccurring thing, but it was kind of cut last minute from this game. And so there's just the one, and the one is still very useful. Alright, so once again, building as much speed as we can. This chain is super important. Once again, ledges eat all your speed there, so unfortunate, but we got the backup chain. And again, like, thanks to the PDA, like, God bless the PDA, honestly. I mentioned the infinite long jumps are the most unique thing about this game, but I just think, like, in conjunction, like, the PDA is just the single most valuable tool, and what it allows, like, the way that it transforms this game from just another 3D platformer is just crazy. Okay, so now we are gonna head back to Core 2. We're gonna do the path that we didn't do. And now that we have the PDA and we have all the coordinates that we need, we are just gonna backtrack and take care of a bunch of missions. Now that we just have more and more stuff at our disposal. And then again, like I mentioned at the start, you can't really move during that cutscene, but since you get zapped there, now we're able to move. And the code bot just opened that door, and more importantly, gave us 15,000 volts, so we're good for the rest of the run. We got everything covered. Now we're playing as Giant Clank. This it gets explored more in the later games, but it's really only used twice here, and the second time we're not gonna see it. But this is to unlock a planet still that we haven't gotten to yet. And these spawns are all set, so again, this is another, like, you just played however many back-to-back-to-back super hard planets, kind of get a moment to relax. Pretty good fight. Sometimes helicopters can get stuck and then like waves come out weird and it can just be a mess. But that all went well. Alright, so we are once again backtracking to the destroyed planet, but there's one thing we have to buy real quick. Now that we have the money for it. And it is kind of nice. It's the premium nanotech, so you see, like, I have 4 things of health, and we've kind of cut it close a couple times so far, so this just gives us 1 more, and then you can, if you really want, you can pay the way too much money and get up to 8, but we're not going to do that. There we go. I remember, like, having a conversation at one point, like, surely, like, something, like, you have to walk, like, hit a trigger or something, and that's what makes that, that dialogue box to buy it pop up. And my friend Izaki was like, nah, man, I just think it's random. I'm like, nah, like, I just think it's random. I'm like, man, maybe you were right. Alright, so back to Novelis. You can do this path without any of the pack attachments for Clank, without the PDA, but it's kind of slow and more frustrating than it needs to be, so we just backtrack for it.
Maybe.
So that gave us the coordinates to planet Iridia, which is by far, in my opinion, the coolest planet in the game. I've mentioned this is the hardest, this is the shortest, this is the coolest for sure. It has, in my opinion, everything that makes this game and speedrunning this game so great in such a short, contained package. This is probably the biggest map in the game as well, and it's got the mud so we can do ILJs, just tons of stuff with the PDA, and you covered such a large, span in such a short amount of time. This first part is pretty basic. We just have to clear out all the sand sharks here. So, again, this is a pretty simple part. But there's still some cool movement stuff here. And again, these are all set spawns, so I know like what the counter's supposed to be at. And these last two are okay. Hopefully, so if I kill any of the trucks before I kill the big generators. Oh, I must have got him. Okay, never mind. Don't listen to me. What do I know? Normally they get stuck in the sand, and then we have to wait for them. So yeah, we're just zipping on by, taking all the missions, grabbing items, now that we have like the requirements for them and whatnot, so. And this is another obstacle course you're supposed to do with the swing shot, but we're just gonna skip straight to the end. Up and over. All right, so we're coming up to the second to last planet, and another pretty complicated one. Thankfully, there's a lot of really inventive skips with this one. So this is usually like, I think this might be the longest planet in the game. It starts with this giant, like, one of the hardest parts of the game casually, because the troopers here they're so ruthless. And thankfully there's a tiny bit of a gap at the top here, if I can find it. There we go. And then we get another race. This one's kind of weird. A lot of checkpoint manipulation. So that skips like half the track there. I do have to backtrack through this gate, which is kind of weird because you have to land like back on the track and you can't really see where you're going. So you just muscle memory after a while thankfully kicks in. And again, this is another, like, you know, lots of super intense movement, and just kind of get to relax for a little bit. It's not as taxing. Pretty good race. Like I said, it's very hard to land on that track. It's so easy to just slip off if you're not careful, since you can't really see where you're going. But I didn't bump a single time. All right, so again, the gadget you get from that is kind of useless. We only use it the one time, but the one time's kind of funny. It's right here. There you go. So we have to start the grind rail, but by doing that, the game's like, well, you started it. And that's all it checks for. So now we're just gonna cut straight to the end. And one of the other uses of the PDA, you see these like start-stop chains, hilariously dubbed Speedias. And yeah. There's a cool face for y'all. Now we have the last planet, the final planet. And by this point we have everything that we need, so we're just gonna beeline straight for the final boss. The final boss normally has 3 sections, and the first one is the giant Clank fight that I alluded to earlier that we're gonna skip entirely. The second one, the way I'm gonna have to move, I'm gonna have to go around a trigger that hopefully doesn't spawn him. And that'll cut out the second phase, so it's just the final phase with the arena, and he can be something, alright. He has 5 patterns he can do. Some are more tedious than the others. One is kind of a heartbreaker, because he leaves the arena and there's nothing you can do but look at him and wait for him to come back. So that's the trigger right there that I avoided. He normally spawns a bunch of platforms to my right, and thankfully we were able to skip over that. So we're gonna cut through this rock wall on the left here and go straight to the final arena. Something I should mention, I bought the Pyrocitor, which you saw earlier. That's the flamethrower weapon. It's useful for clearing out lots of small enemies, but something noteworthy about this game, we are playing on the PAL PS3 version, the download version, and when they ported the original PS2 game to PS3, they kind of broke the Pyrocitor to where what normally dealt damage on, you know, every couple frames now deals damage every single frame. It was a graphical oversight, which is super helpful because this boss is a bit of a health tank. And, you know, he's not too bad. All right, get ready on time. Time will be in 3, 2, 1.
GG.
Thank you. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. This game means so much to me. It's my favorite game to speedrun. The way that the movement works and just everything about it. I don't know. There's just something so special about this game. Thank you to Pace for having me, and thank you all for watching.
Thanks for that run.